All right, name change or not. All right, this is a crazy one. Hey, yo, Billy. I have heard you talk about ISIS a few times on the Monday morning podcast, so I thought I'd ask your opinion on something that's been bothering me for a while now. My husband and I had our child in the fall of 2013. Throughout my pregnancy, we spent a lot of time trying to come up with the perfect name and tried to make sure it was a name that no one could make fun of. Then why don't you just go with Susan? Kathy, Karen, all the classics. No one's going to give you shit about those. After months and months of debate, we finally settled on the name, ISIS, after the Bob Dylan song. I don't understand what happens to parents between being a child and being picked on and bullied and all that type. There's just something about it when you become a parent. You just forget, and you buy your kids stupid clothes, please beat the shit out of me clothes, and then you give your kid a name like ISIS. Let's just say ISIS, the terrorist group, didn't exist. All right? Isn't that when I was a kid, ISIS was, I got to look this up. That was like, there was some superhero that was a woman. Almighty ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. Right? Well, people who name their kid like Thor. All right, ISIS woman. That's my search. Hero. This is going to put me on an FBI fucking watch list because ISIS and hero are in the same thing. Images for ISIS woman hero. ISIS, TV series, 75, 76. I remember that. She'd go, almighty ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. And then it was a ripoff of Wonder Woman. ISIS, DC Comics. Here we go. Here we go. My slow-ass internet. Here we go. ISIS is a DC Comics superhero. God damn, look at her. Woo! Holy shit. I swear to God, man. Does any woman look better than a woman that a guy draws? All right. ISIS is a DC Comics superhero, as well as a separate Egyptian goddess also living in the DC universe. The recent superhero character is modeled closely after the main character of The Secrets of ISIS, a live-action American Saturday morning television program that served as the second half of Shazam. I remember that. Shazam ISIS Hour. The television character appeared in the late 70s DC comic publication. Yeah, I remember this shit. So that to me, that's what it was. All right, let me go back to your question here. So, well, as you know, a few months after she was born, this stupid terrorist group who just so happens to go by the name ISIS is all over the news. ISIS is actually a beautiful name. I shouldn't be making fun of that. I don't know all of the political aspects of the group, and I really don't care. All I know is that a year later, these people are still all over the news and don't seem to be going away anytime soon. I don't know. These terrorist groups, they're kind of like boy bands. You know what I mean? They're fucking hot for a couple of summers, and then they just kind of go away, you know? Like Hezbollah is like fucking the Backstreet Boys at this point. You know? And ISIS is like, not the Jonas Brothers. Jonas Brothers like Hezbollah, right? Or the Al-Qaeda. I'd say they're more like the Al-Qaeda. And ISIS is like, ISIS is whoever those fucking people are. Whoever the new one is, right? That's who they are. Okay, all I know is that a year later, these people are still all over the news and don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. We tried ignoring it, but every time we have to tell someone our daughter's name, we either get a weird, confused look or we get someone who tells us she should start going by her middle name. Wow. Who would say that to a mother? We have thought about, I guess I'm old enough that when I heard ISIS, when I heard just to let you know, when I heard ISIS, the terrorist group, I laughed at the name because I was thinking like, that's that superhero that was a ripoff of Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Anyways, we have thought about having her go by her middle name until all this blows over, but she just doesn't look like anything other than an ISIS to us. So we decided that would be too weird. One solution we have thought of is to change her name to something that is similar to ISIS so she can still use the nickname's shortened version of her current name, but we won't have the word ISIS tied to her legally. So my question is this. Do we let everyone else win or go through all of the legal and financial burdens of getting her name changed, or do we keep her name as it is now? Continue to put up with all the side comics and dirty looks and hope to... Who would think that someone would name a little girl after a terrorist group? What state do you live in? And hope the terrorist group ISIS doesn't turn out into any bigger deal than it already is. Thanks for the advice, and as always, go fuck yourself. I say you stand strong at this point. That's what I say. I say you stay with the name. It's actually a beautiful name. That's a beautiful name for a little girl. ISIS is a beautiful name. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You know, because then it's like, all right, so we're going to be stubborn, and then, oh, gee, what a fucking situation. Because then it's like, your kid's going to be young enough that if you switch it now, it's not going to remember. But if you go too long, that would be weird if all of a sudden somebody changed my name to like Chuck. Hey, Charlie. Charlie! Oh, yeah, that's right. That's my name. Hey, how are you? What's going on? That would be weird. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. And it also sucks that they're making ISIS out to be this huge fucking deal. You know what I mean? That we're focusing all these billions of dollars on this little-ass fucking group, right? And meanwhile, over here, you know, you have people that took control of the food supply and from what I've read have essentially turned it into poison. Isn't that terrorist behavior right here? You can't focus on that? You can't focus on bankers and all these fucking cunts? How about that shit? I swear to God, I don't understand why we can't just fucking build shit in this country, fix our own fucking shit. And look, you know electric cars, you know the batteries and shit, they're going to do just as much damage to the environment as oil and gas are. You know they are. But here's the deal. If we fucking switch over to that shit and then we don't use oil, they fucking go bankrupt. And if they go bankrupt, all these cunts that are literally on our side can't fund the money into these terrorist groups, and then they fucking go away. Right? And then you can have a kid named, Hezbollah. Hezzy.
Batting next, Hezbollah Saunders. Hezbollah Saunders.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know. That sucks. I actually, you know something, I kind of gave you shit in the beginning, but I actually feel really bad for you. Because you love your kid, you love the name, and then that's all one thing. I don't know. I don't think ISIS is going to be around too long. I just think that they're too desperate. You know what I mean? They're too desperate for attention. Just the shit that they're doing. They're really kind of hacky. Cutting people's heads off, lighting people on fire. It's always some sensational fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like if they were a comedian, they'd have a catchphrase, I feel like. Or they'd wear the same clothes every time they went on stage, and they'd fucking, you know, they're trying too hard to be evil, I feel. To think they're actually gonna last. They fucking allegedly, I mean, who knows, once it goes through all the fucking propaganda on all this shit, that person they threw off the roof was allegedly a gay guy, and they were throwing him off because he was gay, just like fucking animals. I just don't think they're going to last. I think even they are too fucking insane to last, is what I'm hoping. You know? And I don't know, that's a rough one, because I think my whole life I will remember the name Hezbollah. I will remember the name Al-Qaeda. Will I remember ISIS, though? There's a big boy band out right now. I don't know the name of it. Oh, man, that's a motherfucker. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You know what? I might have to phone a friend. What do you guys think? Let's take a vote. All right? You got 3 things. Come up with a name for my Southern tour. Help me come up with a name for my Southern tour, I should say. Help me come up with a name for the Thursday podcast. The Thursday, Monday morning podcast. And help this woman make this decision. That fucking blows. Imagine if you had a kid, you just named him Eddie, some regular name, and then there's some new terrorist group over there, and Eddie somehow stood for something. You know? Eviction of, fucking, I don't know, interlopers, except it worked with Eddie.